When I finished college, I trained as a teacher. And of course, there were postings to be done. I was posted in Booni, but he worked very hard. Nikapostiwa, Nairobi.
Wow.
So I've taught in 2 schools in Nairobi. Then, of course, I did home science that combined with nutrition and things like that. So after leaving college, we could apply. In some of these institutions, we didn't need to go to teach. But for me, I couldn't for one reason. He was in a pharmaceutical in sales department. So it meant he was moving out of Nairobi
A lot.
a lot. So I thought if I join these other institutions, I'll also be moving out. So I opted to remain in teaching so that I can take care of the children as they came. Even where teachers go for marking at the end of December after exams, I opted not to. And I did this for the sake of the family. One, he was able to support us. You know, you go out to look for extra coins,
Yeah.
But because he was supporting, and the much that I was getting, I said, we are okay. At least let me bring up the children. Those 2 weeks, you come back, he finds out somewhere when you have moved a step. So, and when he came, he took full responsibility as a husband and as a father to these children.
Wow.
They are very close. I have men here. One married. And I'm glad one day I found them feeding the baby. You know, these days you don't go visiting.
Yes.
I found them feeding the baby at the balcony. He has done it. We used to go home in December, and that's why I could also not go to Mark. So that we use that time together and would release the house help to go. So me, I never suffered.
Wow.
My husband can take care of our baby
Hands-on.
from bathing, from changing, from cooking to feeding.
Wow.
All those things you do. And up to today,
It's still.
now without the children there, the grandchildren will come. Shosho will cook even for them.
Wow.
We are living together. There are times unaambia wewe lala ngoja mimi niende. Na mimi nawaambia wewe hii time wewe lala nitakuita. And that's what happens to our children also. They will tell you, dad and mom, nyinyi poeni. Hii weekend ni sisi tunapika. So the most important thing I found in marriage is because we listen to one another. We take care of one another. And it is not smooth. Let me just say, life is not smooth. Not that we don't have quarrels. Not that we don't have disagreements. But one thing, I'm glad, and I thank God for it, is that we'll talk.
We'll talk it out.
We'll talk. Nobody beyond him and me has ever known that we have even issues. We'll sort it ourselves. Our children have never had us quarrel. Our children have never seen us not talking together. Because we believe our differences should not affect them. So we'll sort them out, either in the bedroom or when they are not there. Hapa kutakuwa na some pretense, but finally we'll talk about it, but we don't want them to. Let them hear and see what is
Good.
normal. But some of these issues. So he has never slapped me, despite all that. But that's what I like about him. So sometimes you feel you don't need to, really, there's no need of you getting annoyed with him or annoying him because he is very accommodative.
we are very different. When you have to marry, I said what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
If God blesses you, the rest is up to you to look after the journey. The journey is rough. If you want your car to live long,
You have to take care of it.
don't drive it in the rough roads. And if you have to drive it on the rough roads, you do what?
Go slow.
You take care. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's not easy because, obviously, you got to know your wife with any sign. I can tell her something here, and you'll never know. And I will know she's what I'm up to and what she's up to. And those are very important things to know when your wife is not to herself and how to support it, how to repair it, and how to keep it going. So you have to support, to encourage, and forgive. Forgiving is the main thing because, well, as a man, there are things you can slap. But then I've never reached to that extent because I think she has known me. I would appreciate the way she has handled me. That's because I've done a bit of psychiatry in my postgraduate, and I know the best way of handling human being is first learn them and allow them also to learn you. And that way, you'll be able to go on enjoying yourself. After all, if you don't enjoy the day as if there is no other day, who knows it will be there tomorrow?
No one.
And for the fact that we are believers, we will live 100 years and over. We also work in a way that those years will be every day to be a better day than
The last.
yesterday. And tomorrow, obviously, God will bring the blessings.
Wow.
And the other thing that I've liked Winnie for, I've never known her to nag. You know, nagging is something that has broken down the family. When men meet, normally they don't talk about their women. But when women meet, they talk about their husbands. Did you know that? That we know. That is known. That, what I know, I've never had a rumor. Plus, the other important thing is when you're making a choice, make sure you know, as I said, the background and the influence. Because families can distract your life. Your in-laws can make your life difficult through your wife. So if you get someone of that nature, then it can make your life difficult. And you don't marry to have it rough, do you?
No.
You marry so that you can live nicely. You're not marrying your sister, mark you. In fact, if you marry your sister, you can fight it well. Brother and sister, they can kill each other. You see? But because it's a stranger, that you marry, take your time. Take your time. I was 32 years before I married, before I made a choice. And within that 2 years, I don't think I lacked women around. Oh, there were a lot. There were many. I was overseas for about 6 years. And before I left, I promised the people who came to see me going 1966 overseas that I will keep, because I had to ask for Harambee to raise 2,800 to Britain and during that time, they had to make me swear I will behave myself. And there were elders, you know them, like my brother-in-law, many, that I will come home and we'll have good time.
Wow.
I went and I came, and from there, then you know how it became that I met her. So I will never regret, because during that rough time, she has been with me. When hit a pothole, we do the repair of ourselves. We have punctures, but we make sure we go on the rough, on the smooth road. With the children, when you had 2 boys, family planning is very important. Young girls, young boys, family planning is very important. I think, there are so many types of family planning methods. She has never known one. We want to plan it.
Yourself.
At ourselves, we planned it. I said, if you want children, fair enough, but I told her I need the 3 boys. Already we have 2. We'll see because if we need girls, they will come through the boys. It doesn't matter how many girls we get, but you must have 3 boys. Fortunately, our 3rd born, she rang me. I rang the hospital and I was told, celebrations, you have a happy, bouncing boy.
So you got what you wanted.
I told her, Winnie, that's enough.
3 is then.
Yes. That does not mean you continue, you stop life. Because every part of your body requires to be looked after. Spiritually, physically, you got to have the knowledge on how to maintain your wife. Just like others, she's not your sister. She will need to be satisfied in every way that a lady needs a man, until God says it's enough, it's enough. And I would say up to now, I must say this. This walking stick, I've never had it all life. I just moved from the hospital with this. After a few months, I was back to my normal. My legs were got injured and got okay. I bought my racket in Britain in 1968 when I went to see other Ash in Wimbledon playing tennis. I bought my racket, which I have even at home now. I came with it in my very hospital where I worked for a year, I was able to build what do you call it? The court
Our tennis court.
for tennis. And we started playing there. Now, when our boy, the last born, was 8 years old, I bought tennis equipment, even for her. And I told them, now, let's go out. Incidentally, I was able to gain weight so seriously. I was 29 at the waist. It came to 46. The jacket I was wearing, and to go and look for them. Yes, I knew this is not going very well. So I had to buy the tennis equipment, including her. I took all of them for the training. After, I think, 3 weeks, she got tired. I don't know where she packed things up to today.
If it was hockey, probably we could have continued playing.
Maybe.
Or netball. Those
No,
are my interests.
All the same, my last born got so much
Into it.
interested in it, and he played for school, for Kenya, internationally.
Wow.
He was in the papers every day, the other day. Trevor Keruke Munene. And that's how he got the scholarship. She used to complain we had no time for him to study because he would land. The next day he is off to South Africa to play. She would quarrel. Nyinyi kazi yenu ni kubeba tu vitu ya kucheza. Where would he go without education?
Yeah.
When indeed, before he went to standard 8, to Form 1, he had a chance of going to US for education there, and they play free of charge.
Wow.
I went for consultation. She told me he must have his Form 4 education first. So for 4 years, having been stopped going there, we were not very personally, but I did not inform the boys. However, he had to choose the school of choice because everybody wanted him because of the game. He did his Form 4. He didn't pass well. I remember from Europe, he lost his bag with all his bag of books. He came here, he went to South Africa, he came back, and she was mad about it. All the same, to cut a long story short, even before the result were out, a very senior man in half caste, a USA and African, he got kind of attached to Munene. He would take the plane to go and see him playing in Mombasa. Now, when he came and told me, your son will go, and he will be responsible to look for the everything. We told him, are you sure that he is going to cope? He said, why not? We told him, I would like you to talk to him a bit. A Form 4 diva who has never been, and see whether he matches the
criteria.
That is the day. With our sister, we prayed that the interview should be in the favor of, at least for him to come and tell us what he has found. I remember we were waiting for that, for information. They went for a talk. The man comes and tells us, this is an international man. He will do everything in wherever he is going. That's when she played, and she asked for forgiveness because she has been a bit discouraged. But he blessed him. Apparently, he went and behaved himself. He finished his degree in economy. Got married. He has Ntagu, who will be 2 years on 26th of August.
Wow.
And they came back to say hello to us. The rest of the boys, they are comfortable. They got married. Not necessarily our tribe, because we did not want to get involved in their selection. But when you hear my daughter-in-laws talk about me, oh, they make me sometimes tear. Because as she says, I look after the little ones. That's how I'm born. Amen?
When the children are growing, when they have reached your age, we lived with them, except this one now went after Form 4, until they had their jobs. And they opted to leave home. Of course, what parents look for is when children will grow and leave home. But you know also, letting them go is not easy, by the way. It's not easy, but we prayed about it, and they had to leave. And that's how they were able to take care of themselves. When it came to their choice of their friends, unajua, you ask them, nasikia mtu ako na rafiki. Unamuuliza, huyo msichana
Tutamuona lini?
hata acha kuona umetoka wapi. You know, every other time, ni kabila gani. So we were sat down, both of us, by one of them. Kasema, mukae mkijua, nyinyi ndio Wameru. Sisi ndio Wameru. For them, they are international. First of all, they said Kenyan. We are Kenyans. So don't ask us about where our girlfriends come from. Kafunga mdomo ya kuuliza where their girlfriends come from. And indeed, tumeremain sisi ndio Wameru. How they are Kenyans. You see, they are Kenyans. Two of them have married Kikuyus, and this other one has married an American. So it became international. So we stopped. Sometimes, you know, you have to believe in them. You trust them. And when you do that, they become your friends. They never hate their friends to us. Some they began with, na wakaachana. Unaona? And then they pick. You know, even for us, not that he was my first boyfriend then. Unaona? I had somebody else in life, but still intimate, but I had a boyfriend. Unaona? And even for these ones, you see, they have zidikana, you let it go. You let it go. So they have been free, and we have been free with them. So they have shared even their pains. Like now, this one who is away, he had a girlfriend for some time. Very patient boy for some time. But the lady was so pushy, alikuwa anampush into getting into marriage, and he really was not ready. He felt he was not ready. And they had to let go. Then he got another one, who had a date for such a long time, and it has worked. So that is the leeway you give to people. And you talk to them very sincerely as friends. You stay with your children as your friends. They are your children, yes. but they have to be friends for them to be able to share with
Yeah.
you. Because when they go through those pains and aches, now where do they run to if you are not their friend?
True.
Because they'll feel, yes, if I go back to my parents, they'll actually give me their shoulders to lean on and cry, And then from there, you move on. Then for children, know that they are perfect. Some have given us painful time. Painful time. But one thing, we have never disowned. Even the one who gave us a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Kuna ile atasneak, ataenda, mumekaa, nice in high school. Mumekaa, mumekula pamoja, hapa sitting room. Na wameenda time to go and sleep. Then, mmoja atakuja, seme, do you know, so and so, Ayuko, ameenda wapi at night? Na ameenda. Na atakuja in the morning. But our prayer was, Lord, even if he comes, tusimwambie rudi pale umetoka. Unaona? Ni ile tu. Jako na makosa, lakini ukimwambia rudi, atarudi, na atasema ni wewe umefanya nini? Umemfukuza. Yeye sasa hana issues. So ni ile utakaa na muongee. And he went on and on. School ndio hiyo. See ati my friends, peer pressure. For him, this one was too much. Na utamuuliza na kuambie, Mom, Dad, my friends are not bad. Mimi nawajua. And whatever they do, there are things they do that I cannot do. Unaona ni mtu anajijua?
Yes.
There are things that they do, but I cannot do. But as a parent, you have those fears. Ni wale watafanya na yeye akiwa hapo, na asifanye.
Mbona asifanye? Yeah.
Na asifanye. So, tumekaa ile session, when you are not able even to cancel, tunamuhand over to somebody else, like that. And he realized he is loved. He is loved in the family. Until when we are celebrating our 40th anniversary, when they were given an opportunity to talk, during that small party at home, we had some church members here. He just stood. Ule wa kwanza akaongea vizuri, huyu akafikiwa. He just stood and he just broke down. He could not. He broke down. So he was taken out by a sister, my sister, that's the auntie, and they are very close. Nile ya baba na mtoto wangu. Baba na mtoto wangu. And that's how she's the one who did a lot of counseling when he was going through those issues. Yeah. They went out. Wakaongea. He came back encouraged. And then akasema, the reason why. I've looked at the journey of my parents this far. And it reminds me the trouble that I caused them. But in that trouble, they loved me. Just as I was, they loved me. Hiyo ndio imemfanya sasa asikie, imagine these ones have never told me you are useless, you can go, you can do things. So we have to bear even with them. There are some other influences, but we look for ways. If I'm not able to do it, let me look for somebody who can do it in a loving way. And that's our journey. And to thank God, he changed. He is the best. God is there. He works out in ways you can never understand. So as young people, just feel free with your parents, with your relatives. If you are not able even to talk to your mother, look for your auntie, who can be very close, and you also share, because by talking, it really helps. Yeah, it really binds that love together.
We have grandchildren. I have Ntagu. I have my nyanya, born by both boys. She has Antagu, and we have literally, I would say, lived with them at our place. I remember Nyanya, she had a problem of chest infection. I used to do percussion, put on my laps every morning until she coughs everything out, and she improved. She had both my son and the wife, they have never forgotten that. And we love them. They love coming to see us. After all, if you have to live and enjoy your fruit, fruit is not from the tree. Those are the fruits that we enjoy. And we are happy, we are blessed. Each of the three boys have been blessed with them, with the grandchildren. And we invite them, they come home as free as they want. I think that's the little I can say about them.
Ma'am Winnie, when you were telling us about your story, about your 44 years in marriage, you mentioned that it's never smooth, it's never easy. And even Mr. Kiruke here said that try and walk on the smooth road. And even when you get to the rough patches, take it slowly. What are the three fundamental points can you say that have helped you when you go to those rough patches in your marriage? Because I believe it will be helpful for one of our viewers out there. What are those 3 points? And I'm narrowing them down to 3 for you that have worked for you during those rough patches.
Okay, even before I mention the 3, let me say that there are vows that one makes during the wedding.
Yes.
The vows.
Yes.
That you live, you care, come and here, you protect. Those are things that reminds me that till death do us
Part.
So it didn't mean that in between you can just live. So when I got into marriage, one of the fundamental things is that I chose them, I loved them, and I promised to do all the best to make the marriage work. So it doesn't just work. You have to make it work. And that's one of the things that are purpose to make my marriage work. Then the other one, of course, with love for one another. When you love one, you don't want to disappoint the person. So you remove all the things that can bring up those conflicts. And when they come, you have to solve them with a lot of love for that person. Then the other one is the purpose in life. What is it that you are looking for in life? Yes, we have gotten married, we have children, and when the children go, what do you do? You'll be left with that same person.
Yeah.
So that first love comes back. You continue loving one another, caring for one another. Knowing as an individual who can do wrong to you. But the Lord calls us to repent, realize your mistake, you repent, and you reconcile with that person. Then finally, in marriage, what is it that you are looking for? It's not just small things, even bigger things that will make your life and your marriage work. You look for property together. For us to enjoy in this world, because we really need something to enjoy in this world.
Yeah.
But knowing that I lay my treasures in heaven, not on earth.
Wow.
And not on him permanently, but I am. He is just a human being like any other.
Yes.
But we have to live together. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Kiruke, anything to add?
Yes. especially to girls. The reason why girls don't choose, they are chosen. The reason why cannot choose you is because of your character. Simple. Okay? My dear, your character will make you be chosen. If I have someone who would like to have a girl to marry, I will tell him, go to Kayekas. You will never be disappointed. Not because of the beauty, not because of the other issues, sometimes not even education, is she's wonderful in character. Okay? For the boys, you don't marry beauty. You don't marry someone because of the structure. You marry a character. Someone you know, when you fall, hata kulalia kuwe, will lift you up. Yeah? Someone you know, like I tried businesses here a lot. Days, nothing works. And one day, I broke down. She said, what's going on? I said, I'm not succeeding in anything. And we said, why? What do I have? Naanza hii, nothing to do. Tell me, how many of your age are alive? How many of your age have a shelter? How many of your age have got children educated? And by then they are no grandchildren, and they are comfortable. Isn't that enough? How do you think I felt after that? Thank you. Did I tell you that? Yes. Then I think if you have that in your mind, you will never make a mistake.
So, Kirukis, as we come towards the end of the show, what are the parting shots that both of you may share to young couples who are watching? Maybe they're in their first or second or third year in marriage. What is that one thing that you can really say, as a summary of all that you've spoken about, what is that one thing that you can advise people watching which would say would help them get to their 40, 50, 60-year anniversary? We'll start with you, Mrs. Kiruki, and then we can go to Mr. Kiruki.
What I would really advise them is that in marriage, there is, what can I call it? Looking at the other partner as somebody who is there in your life to build you. Because equality is really messing up the marriages, especially the young people. Mtu anafeel what he can do, what I can do. You know that there is that power that we are equal. What I would advise them is that there should be submission. Submission and respect from the men. And for them to know you are there to build your life together. Don't look at the other person as the one now to provide. Even you as a spouse, if you are working, put your resources to build this family. Because you find that some people, they tend to say, this is mine, this one is ours. So it is important that there should be submission, there should be love, and there should be a purpose in life You are looking forward to what you can do together. These days, there is a lot of secretive. People do things secretly. The husband does not know what the wife is doing. The wife does not know what the husband is doing. So be open to one another, discuss things together. Where you feel they are not working, see the ways and you pray to God that you'll be able to guide you, because that's why you are Christian. Pray to God to guide you, to direct you on what to do about the family. That's what I would advise them.
There is what I can call desire. There is desire which is upright, and the desire which is having an influence which is evil. Don't copy your neighbor. Don't copy your colleagues. You should desire what they have, but look for it in an upright manner. You can make your husband go and steal so that he can buy a nice car. You can make your wife commit suicide because she does not have the high heels. If you cannot be satisfied with your wife, even if you get it to, you will not. Be satisfied with what you have and anchor your desire in God. Amen.
There you have it, guys. We've finally come to the end of this series that we've been having on our show. The topic, as always, has been Let's Talk Marriage. We've come all the way from settling down. How do you make that choice? How do you make the choice on who you are going to settle down with? Then we moved on to expectations versus reality. What are those myths that we have about marriage? What are the facts? We had a very wonderful couple here that answered those questions for us. And now, with the help of the Kerukes, we've answered the question of how do you grow old together? What are those hurdles that you will have to overcome? How do you overcome them? And from their 3 points that they've given us, I hope you've picked out things that you can apply, whether you are young and single, freshly into marriage, or also you are well in your way in marriage and just looking at how to bring back the love that probably has faded over the years. Just as the Kerukes have said, once the children leave, once the nest is left empty once again, you shall be left with that one person that you married. I've been your host, Keith Kinoti.
And I've been your host, Connie Kireka, and I'm so happy that you stayed out with us until the very end. I hope you found all that has been discussed today of value to you. We aspire and hope that your marriage gets to the point where the Kirukes are, if not even better. We look forward to growing this channel, and we can only do that with your support. So we invite you to like, to comment, to share. What other topics do you want us to talk about now that we're finishing our Let's Talk Marriage series? Please give us information as we grow. Remember, the Voice It Show, we're all about voicing out issues that are happening in the society, but within a Christian context. I've been your host, Connie Kireka, once again, and I look forward to seeing you in our next show. Bye.
Ciao.